Yeah, that's fine.
Rosie? Okay. Marty, you ready? The press in the Down Beach Current were notified of this meeting. A copy of same was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the municipal website. The meeting will come to order. Would you please stand for the flag salute? Attention, salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Becker?
Here.
Mr. Blumberg?
Here.
Ms. Taube?
Here.
We have before us the minutes of our May 15th meetings. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we accept.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
We will open for public comment, 3 minutes to talk about any subject you'd like to speak to. Is there any public comment?
Good afternoon, and just wanted to state one of my intentions professionally is to learn to be a better, more confident public speaker and to not cry at the mic. So today I will not break down and cry like last time. You have been updated. I'm glad Brenda's here so you can hear that the time change for the event with the bicyclers arriving to town is 11 a.m. rather than noonish. Most of everything I have on my list of things to discuss, I realize I can just send in a massive email to all those it affects, so I'll follow through with that. I wanted to thank Nanette for the article in the Current. Thank you. And just let you guys know that things are moving along nicely and profoundly. And I think it will bring great joy to our island to have these men come to town, men and women, and honoring the little boy that we're going to honor. And I'll just leave these with you for extra information, and you can read it at your leisure. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Anyone else? Public comment?
Carl Schreiman, 105 South Union Avenue. I'm about to bring up a controversial issue. It's not to offend anyone. It's just a brainstorm idea that I got, and I thought, we sell beach tags, and I thought it would be a nifty idea if we could sell dog tags and certain hours where we could take our dogs on the beach.
Wait, hold on, Carol. Is it loud enough?
Should I start from the very beginning again? Okay. I'm starting from minute 1.
Go ahead, Carol.
Okay. The way we sell beach tags to allow people on the beach, there are so many people in Margate who would love to take their dogs on the beach, let's say 5 in the morning until 6 in the morning, and we would like to do it without sneaking and going against the law. And I, for one, have spoken to all my friends, and we would pay you as much as you would ask to give us a tag for the 3 months of the summer to allow us on the beach, let's say, 5 to 6 in the morning and maybe 9 to 10 at night when no one is there, of course promising to clean up after our dog. I know it's a controversial issue. It's just a suggestion. You could raise a lot of money, because I would give you thousands of dollars to be able to take my lab on the beach in the summertime. So I just present that to you. And if enough people, get behind it, maybe we can make that a reality. And I have another message to you. I teach at Atlantic City High School, and we want to thank you for the children which you send us. We're getting them all into good colleges. And today, at a little session that we had in the library, Mrs. Gaskell complimented your teachers. You have wonderful teachers here. Please do not send your children to Ocean City, Holy Spirit, mainland. You've got the teachers, you've got the subjects, you've got the curriculum at Atlantic City High School. That's it.
Thank you.
And I've taught most of your children, and they're all in good colleges.
Anyone else?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. As we were coming in, the mayor said that
he was relegated to the back page of the Current. Well, the back page of the Current is the bootlegger's liquor. So I don't think he's in the very back page. But if he perused the paper more carefully, on page 2, the first page with articles, there's one by the crack reporter from the Current, and it discusses one of these clandestine, behind closed doors operations. And it reveals that we've spent over $155,000, squandered it big time. And what have we gotten for it? We've gotten a gigantic goose egg. Mayor, put your math hat on. You know what a referral fee on $155,000 comes out to be, Mayor?
What's up?
That's a question, an interrogatory, Mayor. I know you hate questions.
Move on, John.
No, I'm not going to move on because I think it's a pertinent question. What does a referral fee on that amount work out to be?
Referral fee to whom?
A referral fee. To whom? I don't know. You don't have to answer that question. Since you do everything in executive session, I think I would love to know the answer to that question, but you still haven't answered that question, Mayor. What would a referral fee be?
I have no idea what you're speaking of, John.
Oh, ignorance is bliss, Mayor, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. Let me tell you what a referral fee on $155,000 billing might be. $15,500. $15,500. And we might ask, Mayor, why is it taking so long to do what is right in this matter? This lawyer wouldn't stand a Chinaman's chance in hell of winning this case. Not against Eddie Jacobs and Company. Wouldn't win that case in a million years. Because your co-conspirator and co-defendant made statements that made it impossible. She created a moral and ethical dilemma. And you know, for this $155,000, Mayor, we don't even
Seconds, John.
I'll give you 15 seconds.
Thank you.
We don't even get a modification of our pay-to-play rules. I want to see something for this $155,000, Mayor, other than a big goose egg. I want to see a little stipulation in the pay-to-play that it includes services in kind. Services in kind. Write that down so you don't forget it, Mayor.
I will do that. Thank you.
Services in kind.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon, Mackenzie Winfelder, 15 North Gladstone Avenue, and I am here on behalf of the Margate Mothers Association. I just wanted to confirm that everything with the fireworks has been resolved, that the contract has been signed, and that the check will be cut, the deposit.
Is on the agenda tonight to acknowledge the receipt and approval from the JIF. The bill list is on there, the deposit for $7,500 to be voted upon, and the contract is fine once it's approved tonight.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it all right, Mr. Hildner, if Mr. Schaefer, he's going to be in the area tomorrow, and he was wondering if you could just stop by to get both the contract and the check, and before I had him go out of his way to come to
As
you?
long as everything's passed tonight, and I just don't know if the checks are going to be cut tomorrow. That they're sometimes cut on Friday, sometimes they're cut on Monday.
I don't think checks are getting cut until Monday.
How do you, there was an email
Because-
about.
yeah, 'cause Tara's
we
out
sent
tomorrow.
Tara out, so that'd be Monday.
Okay, then I will tell him not to waste his time, that you'll just send everything on Monday.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good,
Thank
John?
you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Close public comment, can I do my report?
Well, let's get through this one.
Commissioner Tybee, did you want to say something?
Go ahead, Sharon.
Karen Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue, Margate, New Jersey. I want to thank Commissioner Tobey for her opinion letter and quotes about having another Dune referendum. They so clearly validate the ongoing concerns of many Margate citizens, and there are quite a few. First, her use of the opinion pages. I warned people who were very happy that your weekly opinion page attacks on challengers and personal vindications had ceased, that they would quickly reappear as soon as there was a letter challenging you. And sure enough, 1 week after my letter, with documented facts, you respond with a personal attack, basically accusing me of lying, with no attempt to explain why are you wasting taxpayer dollars, the true actions of a guilty party. With no real defense, they try and discredit the character of the challenger. You clearly underestimate the intelligence of the majority of our citizens. Second, your lack of transparency and need for secrecy to control information. Call me if you want your questions answered honestly, you say in your letter. Why not respond in a public forum, like a meeting, where there can be a discussion if you have the facts to defend your actions? Do you really think people believe that the mayor or Commissioner Blumberg will not provide them with honest answers? And the only way to get an honest answer is to ask you in a private conversation? 1-800 Commissioner Tobey? You may get the Margate Concerned Citizens Group to believe this, but as we have seen on many occasions, the views of this group do not reflect the views of the majority of citizens. Third, what is your agenda? Is it yours? Concerned Citizens? Steve Warner of the Concerned Citizens suggests at a commission meeting that we should have a referendum asking if people want to spend money to fight the Dunes project. You should know that this type of spending cannot go to referendum, and yet, at the next meeting, in an article in The Current, you suggest this as if it's a new idea that just popped into your head. You state, as commissioner, I would feel more comfortable if we had the vote of the people. After all, it's their money. You're very comfortable spending our money attacking employees and citizens, which people would definitely vote against if they could legally vote against that to begin with. Look at the facts. You and the Concerned Citizens Group
15 seconds.
went after Tom Hiltner, Yogi Hiltner, Little League, at the Tops Camp, pushed for a new building department we didn't want to need, wanted to level this building and build homes, none of which was supported by the majority of the citizens. So you can keep trying to sell yourself to yourself and the public that you have no personal agenda, and you represent what's best for the citizens of Margate. But if you follow the evidence, as they say on CSI and NCSI, it shows that you represent the views of the Concerned Citizens Group, which only is a small minority of the people. Thank you.
Ding. Anyone else? That was done. Okay, you'll have your chance. Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Okay. Steve, you're going to have to move faster.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mayor. I'm getting a little old.
Go ahead.
I've gotten old. I just want to say that with regard to Atlantic City High School and Margate City Public Schools, I sent my 3 kids. First of all, I went to Margate Public Schools and I went to Atlantic City High School, and I graduated from St. Joe's College. And I sent my 3 boys to Margate Public Schools and Atlantic City High School, and they all got great educations. They all got into really good colleges, okay? And I think that Descendants kids, I mean, if you think that Mainland High School and Ocean City High School are so great, you know, I've dealt with quite a few of the kids over there, both of those places, and I got news for you. There's stuff you learn in Atlantic City you don't learn anywhere else. And my kids got a great education, and they're miles ahead of a lot of these other kids at colleges that went to like really restricted, you know, especially ethnic origin restricted high schools and what have you. And anyhow, I just want to say Atlantic High did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Personal note, I'll reinforce that. I've been on the board, I was on the Board of Education for 20-some years. It's a very big proponent of Atlantic City High School. The Becker family is in their 4th generation of graduates from Atlantic City High School. My mother, myself, my children, and one of my grandchildren. So we're very proud of that. And Carol, you did a great job. You've made lasting friends, and it's a great school. I agree with you.
And Sydney got into Princeton from Atlantic
Sydney
City.
did Princeton. That's not a bad thing. Okay. There's a motion on the floor to close public comment. Has that been seconded?
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Dalby?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on second readings of ordinances or resolutions? Okay, I forgot. I forgot you, didn't I?
No, that's okay, after the resolution.
Okay. Begin, John.
All right, I thought you and your co-conspirator were conspiring. You might remind her of that little doggerel, Mayor. She's the Balabusta, and whatever she says, you got to get used to.
That's offensive, John. Yeah.
Maybe offensive, Mayor, but it's very true.
It's true.
And if she'd learned that, she wouldn't be having these paranoid letters in the Current. Mayor, your undivided attention to number 119. 119. Are we on the right page, Mayor?
We are now, John.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Mayor. It would be hypocritical for this commission to adopt this resolution because, unfortunately, Margate doesn't subscribe to property tax relief. You know, it's no great mystery, Mayor, that we have the very highest property taxes in the entire nation in the state of New Jersey. Likewise, we have the very highest percentages of foreclosures in the entire nation. This is no accident, Mayor. And some people will say correlation is not causation. But I beg to differ in this instance because the whole process of appealing one's property taxes is a joke. As we recall, the Atlantic County Tax Board for years was dominated by our dear late fellow Margatian, Harry Brown. The decisions were primarily political rather than substantive or objective. And now we are treated to the fact that all the Margatians have to travel 40 miles round trip out to Mays Landing rather than have them do the circuit. Likewise, if they appeal from this kangaroo court, the Atlantic County Tax Board, then they have to go all the way up to Trenton as opposed to the tax judge coming down to the various different counties. So people from Fort Lee or Cape May Point, they have to travel hours and hours to seek some type of remedy. Unfortunately, the tax court isn't much more receptive than the county tax boards. They're basically a rigged operation. Mayor, you could go a long ways towards preventing your litigious streak by barring countersuits that are paid by the Margate taxpayers. Bogus countersuits, I might add, based upon perjury, Mayor. Perjury, I might add. And I don't think that the city should finance countersuits against our own taxpayers. That would save not only the taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars, but might even give the aggrieved taxpayer a decent shot at the county tax board or at the tax court up in Trenton. Why don't we instead ask Chrissy Brown to get both the tax court and the Atlantic County Tax Board to ride the circuit? The county tax board to appear in the municipal courts throughout the county.
15 seconds.
I'll use them most judiciously, Mayor,
I thank
to
you.
enlighten you,
Thank you.
despite the odds. And also, have Mr. Brown, a former judge, insist that these tax court judges do the circuit. Have them come back to Bacharach Boulevard instead of traipsing up to the murder capital of this state and putting your life in your hands to try to get a modicum of justice. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, John. Anyone else?
Number 124, fireworks. I am glad that the fireworks are going to take place and everything is in order. I don't ever really get involved in the politics or what goes on in the politics of that, but I do understand, I do recall reading a letter in the paper, I believe it was Margie Reel from the Mothers Club. There was some situation with Commissioner Chobby getting involved and some problems with the people who were delivering. I don't know all the facts, but
Sharon, we're on ordinances.
that is number 124, so that I'm glad it's been resolved, and there will be fireworks, and there'll be insurance, and that everything's back to normal. Thank you to whomever made that happen, whether it be the Margate Mothers Club or Commissioner Tobby or whomever. And I know you don't like me to talk at all, but there are rules. We must follow them consistently. Thank you.
Anyone else? Resolutions and second reading of ordinances.
Stephen Lieberman, 9510 Monmouth Avenue. Sorry, I was a little late, so maybe I missed something. Looking at Resolution 115. Exactly where is Johnny's expanding the liquor license?
The chief will answer that, Steve.
That is just an expansion of the licensed premises to include shuckers, as well as the small deck that they have just completed under zoning board compliance.
Okay.
It's just it's a technicality.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Motion to close public comment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Stawley?
Yes.
Do you want to do this now? Or
Yeah,
Mrs. Tarby would like the floor.
I apologize for missing the 4 o'clock. I had a report I wanted to share with everybody. The first part of it we'll discuss at our next meeting because I see Chief Tabasso's not here, but I wanted to bring up for discussion the 5 vehicles that were given to the Margate City Fire Department. I remember when Chief Tony Tabasso brought the gift opportunity up, and I was concerned about it then, and I conveyed this concern to Rich Genie right after the meeting, and then later I realized that the 5 5-ton trucks were given to us, but with the gift comes an expense to register, maintain, and insure. So we'll talk about it more at the next meeting, but my feeling is that...
Brenda, have you had that discussion with Rich and Tony privately? Have you had a private discussion related to your concerns?
Well, I have spoken with Chief Tabasso, and I have spoken with Rich. But I think this is something that all of us should talk about, because if there's any expenses with gifts, I think we as a commission should consider voting on accepting the gift, because there's a yearly expense for these gifts.
This is your department or
Let's talk about
Mike's
the next
department?
meeting now, because the chief isn't here now.
Is this your department or Mike's department?
Or do you want to talk about it now? It's okay.
Let's talk about it. There's no cost to register the trucks, okay? There is no additional cost to insure these trucks. The maintenance of this truck will add nothing to the budget. It will be very minimum and come out of the current or annual operating expense budget for the fire department. So there's really no additional expense here at all.
All right, there's no insurance expense whatsoever at all?
That's correct.
Mike, the fact of the matter is that we're not being transparent here. The real truth of the matter is Commissioner Talby doesn't like the way the trucks look. She thinks they're an eyesore. She can't see that these trucks will help us in an emergency if in fact we ever need them. She can't see that we can share them with neighboring towns, with Longport and Ventnor and Atlantic City. She just thinks that they don't look good. Sitting in the public works yard where nobody can see them, and the only time anyone will ever see them is if, God forbid, we need them.
All right,
But
if
they are an
let me finish my
eyesore.
report. Margate's 1.4 square miles, and these very large military-type vehicles just seem out of place and a bit unnecessary to me. The size of the vehicles really hit me after seeing them in person parked next to Fire Station 2.
I hate to
And I
interrupt,
read
but
in
we
the
really
Current-
shouldn't do this without Chief Tabasso.
And I read in the Current, which Nanette Galloway wrote, and read that Chief Tabasso said that these vehicles could be shared with their neighboring municipalities, which is great, but can the neighboring municipalities share in the maintenance and the storage of these vehicles? And what about the wear and tear on our roads and the underground infrastructure? The weight can't be good for them. Chief Tabasso informed me that we have these vehicles, we must keep them now as part of the agreement with the government for 18 months. And the acceptance of these vehicles was approved by Mayor Becker. I understand that these vehicles were free, and they are kind of cool looking, but we survived our biggest storm in Margate history without these vehicles. I'm very concerned about the real need for them, the expense and the maintenance of owning them, where to store them, and the damage they can do to our streets. All these factors, I believe, should have been considered before acquiring them. When the police department just had one 2.5-ton vehicle, a 6x6 for emergencies, it was determined that the city could use just one more, another 2.5-ton 6x6 vehicle, which was purchased later by the police department. And that explanation was in a letter from Chief Wilson to Mayor Becker, copying Rich Deeney and Chief Tabasso. Additionally, it's my understanding that CDL licenses are needed to drive these new 5-ton vehicles, and CDLs are needed CDLs are not needed for fire apparatus for the firemen. And this must be clear because, God forbid, if there's an accident, the city could be liable. I'm just saying that in the future, before we accept a donation or something that's free, let's pause, learn what the operational costs are of the gift. Since it affects our annual budget, I think there should be I think we should provide a yearly maintenance and operation cost, and then vote on accepting them. So that's all I wanted to say. If you disagree with me, that's fine, but I really did want to hear your thoughts, and I guess your thoughts are it's fine.
I have to tell you that I do disagree, because this was discussed at a public meeting. It had the full support of not only me as Commissioner of Public Safety, but the fire chief, the emergency management director. It was a great lesson in working together. It was cooperating with one another. It was done. The only obligation we have is to keep those trucks for 18 months, at which time we will reevaluate this. This was a great job by Chief Tabasso, working with the chief from Ocean City. 2 of those trucks are going to your department.
Yeah, which I just found out about.
Okay, well,
And do we really need them?
Okay, well, one of them, yeah, we do need them, because we delayed a capital expenditure of $80,000 to buy a new truck until we see what happens with these trucks. And perhaps we may never have to. The one truck is a wrecker. The other truck can have a plow attached to it and do plowing. And I twice in one meeting, I agree with Commissioner Blumberg. These trucks are our insurance. I hope to God that we never have to use them, but I want to be prepared and keep the city safe if that ever comes, okay? And firemen do not need CDL licenses, okay? There's no registration fee. There's very minimal maintenance, and there's no insurance increase.
I understand that firemen don't need CDLs for fire apparatus, but I think for this type of equipment they might. But it's okay. This is a commission. There's 3 of us, and Obviously, the two of you think it's a good thing, and that's okay. I just felt like I needed to bring it up because it seemed crazy to me for such a small community that we needed them. Okay, on to another subject. It's a pleasure and honor to serve Margate, but the negative politics aren't so fun. I don't understand why we have to be nasty and disrespectful to each other. The behavior like this serves no one. And I would like us to try to be more civil and stick with the facts. I understand that there will be disagreements, and these disagreements are healthy, but we should disagree on the facts, not mean-spirited fabrications which simply aren't nice or professional. And I'm speaking of the letter that Mrs. Simon wrote about in the Current, which mentioned, she wrote that I terminated 4 public employees just before Christmas. To add insult to injury, it's my suspicion that Mr. Hiltner shared this information with Mrs. Simon, which is disturbing because the personnel manager shouldn't be sharing this information with anybody outside the city. But here are the facts. 4 temporary employees were hired last summer for seasonal help.
Can I interrupt here? Why is your suspicion that Mr. Hiltner shared when the entire city knew that you let these people go before Christmas? The entire city...
Let me get to the facts, please, Commissioner Blumberg. Here's the fact. 4 temporary employees were hired last summer for seasonal help, to help out because we had a few Public Works team members out for various reasons. These temporary employees were let go in February of 2014, not before Christmas. And soon after, 3 of them were rehired on a full-time permanent basis. The 3 that were brought back had the highest performance appraisals and the best attendance records. And Tom, you can check your personnel files on these gentlemen, and you know for sure that they were let go in February of 2014 and rehired back shortly after.
Were you asking me?
No, I'm not.
I didn't think so, because you haven't asked me anything to date, and everything you said is wrong.
Right.
Do we have to continue
All right,
this?
I think the rest of the letter has to do with legal fees, noting Hiltner versus the City of Margate and Marketplace. We have to defend ourselves with Hiltner versus the City of Margate, and we wouldn't have any legal fees had the contracts for the beach advertising been administered properly and the money the city paid. Instead, someone went to Marketplace, inciting the owner with exaggerated information, resulting in threats of litigation. And the public is entitled to know what our legal fees are. And I've asked Lisa McLaughlin to prepare a report for the last 5 years broken down yearly, which will be shared at our next meeting. The report will show inside legal fees, solicitor, and outside legal fees, all but solicitor. Another political incident I wanted to clear up happened over Memorial Day. I'll just go through it quickly. There was something on Facebook. I contacted the woman. The woman said that she had called Mr. Hiltner, her ex-brother-in-law, and asked, what's up with trash, and was told that Brenda Talby cut overtime. This is also not true. Frank Rachetti and I are both very concerned about doing the absolute best job that we can to keep the beaches clean and beautiful. If anyone sees a problem or a spot needing attention, please contact the Public Works Department right away and we'll clean it up. And if it's a problem on a weekend, call Rob Fishbein on her cell. And on to more positive notes, my daughter and I went to the Children Making a Change meeting last Saturday, and I was so touched to look around the packed room of mostly Margate moms and their kids, all working together to give back and help our community. Hats off to Laura Dulac, who started this organization. She and our Margate children have raised over $200,000 for charities, which the children picked to support. I think we really live in a beautiful community. Our Green Team, Sustainable Margate, is working with Brigantine, Atlantic City, Ventnor, and Longport on a stormwater management forum on July 17th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Bloom Pavilion. Professor Chris Abrupta from Rutgers, and also someone from the Jacques Cousteau department, and another gentleman from Rutgers, hopefully, Professor Ken Miller, are all going to speak on best practices for stormwater management and how to lessen flooding on the islands. The target audience is public works management, planning administrators, planning boards, building inspectors, green teams, engineers, and city officials. Basically anyone involved in the decision-making authority or influence regarding planning. Commissioner Kelly of Ventnor suggested we host another forum like this to the general public for the individual residents so that they also can better understand why our communities flood and what the individual homeowner can do to lessen flooding. As soon as we know more about all that, information will follow. Hope everybody enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend. The town was packed. It was busier than I've seen in a couple of years. Memorial Day was also wonderful. We just had one hitch, though. The microphone wasn't working, so unfortunately, I apologize for that. Unfortunately, much of the ceremony couldn't have been heard, but next year we're going to make sure we do a sound check so that everything's in full working order prior to the ceremony. I apologize to the speakers that couldn't have been heard. It's also time to be to start working on our electronic summer newsletter, and to please copy information to me by Wednesday, June 18th, so it can be included. And then for our team, just think about anything you want our residents to know between June 20th and September 20th, the date of the next newsletter. And then as a mom of a school-age child in the Margate school system, I just want to applaud the superintendent, Dr. DeFranco, and our Board of Ed for the handling of the 3 recent incidents that were concerning to parents. If these incidents weren't handled properly, it could have really incited the parents. And the school communicated with the parents immediately after it became aware of the incident in an honest and open fashion, minimizing the parents' need to panic. As a parent, I'm impressed and thankful for this response and communication, which negated any panic, and our questions were answered before we even had an opportunity to ask them. So they have a great crisis communication plan. And then lastly, I just want to remind everybody that recycling is now every week now until Labor Day. Thank you.
Tom, would you continue, please?
Yes. Oh,
Continue on.
ready?
Huh?
Oh, okay, if you're ready for the agenda. Oh, okay, I thought you wanted something.
There's one thing I can't let go, Mike. Item number 7 in Commissioner Taube's letter, I would publicly like to apologize to all the parents that did in fact panic on the Sunday night when they got the call that there were bed bugs found in the school, and that was all they were told. Half of the parents that got the call didn't send their kids to school on Monday. So this is like revisionist history. And I just...
used to that.
It's just unbelievable to me that we're thanking someone for inciting a riot, saying that there was no riot. I just had to add that for the record.
Right.
Maybe the parents that I talked to were insane.
Tom?
While we're adding to the record, I had no conversations with anybody about anything with Public Works overtime, and nor did I speak with Ms. Simon. If Ms. Taube had asked me, I would have told her. Item number 7, ordinances. Second reading of ordinance number 24, amending 09-2014 for the down payment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
Number 25, amends ordinance 25-213 for salaries and wages, changes in titles for civil service compliance.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
26 amends Chapter 257, Vehicles and Traffic for handicapped parking spot at 208 North Kenyon.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
Resolution 111 authorizes the payment of claims and payroll.
I'll make that.
motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
112 authorizes payment to Jersey Architectural for $435.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
113 approves specs and plans for the 2013 road program.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
114 rescinds resolution number 105 for 308 North Essex Avenue because all the payments were made.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
115 approves the place-to-place transfer for the expansion of Johnny's Cafe.
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
116 authorizes a tax lien redemption for Block 431, Lot 6.A01.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
117 authorizes change order 1 final for a reduction of $1,500 to the original contract for the beach bulkhead
Make
access.
that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
118, authorize the City of Margate to enter into an agreement granting curative rights to the leasehold mortgagee with First Bank as explained earlier by Mr. Abbott.
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube.
Yes.
119 supports Assembly Bill A 1021 for property tax relief.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
120 renews liquor license 011633 for Ocean Drive. This is a previous license term for a non-active license.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
121 approves the appointment of John Oakes as a special law enforcement officer for 2014.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes, with comment. We are really, really very lucky to have Officer Oakes in this position. So thank you to the chief and everybody that made it possible.
How about the Commissioner of Public Safety?
And the Commissioner of Public Safety for making this possible.
Okay. Did we vote on that? Was it voted?
So I vote yes.
Okay. Resolution 122 is requesting approval to the insertion of an item of revenue for a $2,000 grant.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
123 authorizes an execution of a revocable license agreement for 7 South Frontenac Avenue.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
124 memorializes and accepts the JIF approval of Margate City's July 4th fireworks display.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
125 approves the bonfire on the beach for the Margate City Beach Stock on June 28th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
All right, 126 is going to be changed. That resolution is being pulled, and we're going to insert 126 will be the awarding of the contract for Falasco for the building, municipal building improvements.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, this is all pending certification.
Subject to certification
Okay,
of
yes.
funds.
All right. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
All right, thank you all for being here.
Disgusting.
I will give you a second.
Okay, thanks.